ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about Bleach. And I can't believe it feels like surreal having this episode here. The way it looked, finally having the truth, the reign of truth, how I like to call this episode in a way, everything but the reign. Finding out with the past Ichigo, how he came to be, everything with his mother, with Ishin. After so long, Ishin is finally ready to talk to Ichigo, finally having that long awaited conversation, which feels like we've waited years upon years, let alone how Ichigo must feel, especially after everything that happened back in Soul Society with him getting exiled. This episode just puts a lot of things so much into perspective, and somehow I still got very nostalgic and emotional. Bleach definitely has a special place in my heart, to say the least. And next week it's gonna be even more amazing because we're getting a 1 hour special, basically like a small Bleach movie. But this episode is just the beginning, so can't wait to talk about it. So let's get into it. Now, at the beginning, we see that Ohetsu definitely has something more planned for Ichigo, and I really liked how he emphasized that every Shinigami, ever since the start of the Soul Society, gets an Asauchi. Even how Zaraki got his own from a dead Shinigami there. Everybody gets one, even Squad 0. But this method is not good for Ichigo. He needs to rediscover his soul, his truth, his past, everything, to discover himself. So that's why he sent him back home. And even Renji felt back when they were doing the test that it wasn't going to work for Ichigo. And I'm really curious how Ichigo is going to come out after everything that's happening now. Now, I know some spoilers, even something from this episode I knew from reading some stuff about the series, but it feels amazing seeing all of this animated, even though they keep a frame, a very important manga frame, and we're gonna get to that. But back home, we have Ichigo face to face with Ishin, and Ichigo decides to run away. He still wasn't fully ready to confront that entire situation and his past. I really liked where he ran away, going back at the part-time job he had with Ikumi. We see the blaming on himself for failing that test, for not being able to do enough, for he blames himself for his Zanpakuto, not being able to have it reforged. Now, Ikumi was such an awesome way to see her again in this episode, how she instantly took care of Ichigo, even saying she sees herself as his older sister there, wanting to help him, support him, even though he has been missing work. But we have Ishin showing up in his Shinigami outfit to take him back home. They go back home, but he forgets something very important behind being his substitute Shinigami badge, which I hope is not gonna cause any problems for Ikumi. She wants to return it tomorrow, but hopefully she's going to be okay. I really like Ikumi quite a lot. Now we finally have the start of the long-awaited, forever conversation. Ishin saying he knows what happened in Soul Society and that he's finally ready to talk, telling him, "You are not a Soul Reaper, nor are you a normal human." And we have, "Your mother was," and I really liked when they perfect cut there, straight into that slow rain, and with the flashback we get here with Ishin wounded meeting Masaki, a Quincy, and goes back even further to finally see everything there. And some fun moments we see how Squad 10 was back then with Rangiku still being Rangiku. Man, Rangiku is such an awesome character, and she has nice personalities. She was looking for Ishin Shiba, so being part of the Shiba clan there, Ishin, when he was the captain and he was in a tree. So he has a problematic captain, to say the least. And I like the bickering between them, the banter with Shin not wanting Rangiku to be a captain, which is a very good point. And Hitsugaya still being Hitsugaya, even though he was much younger there, but still his serious demeanor that he had there. And also the kid part in him eating Asian food and trying to gloss over it. But onto serious things, they get a report about Shinigami dying, and I really like how Ishin wanted to go alone to keep them safe because they weren't still ready to help him at that level, and Hitsugai being the one that realized that Rangiku instantly wanted to go after him. This is why I feel like definitely Hitsugaya is a much better choice for captain, even though I love Rangiku, but she has definitely matured, especially after what happened with Gin, and she has her serious moments. So I still think, maybe not at that time, but right now I feel like Rangiku could definitely be a captain, and hopefully we get to see more of her and my wife. I can't wait for Yoruichi to show up at some point, but we'll get to that. Now we'll also see more flashbacks, and Aizen makes an appearance with his experiments with holification, still looking for the Vizards. Feels awesome to see the past with how Aizen manipulated everything, what he did with Kaname, with Gin, and I still miss Gin. Gin was one of my favorite characters in the series. His demeanor, that snake-like, the first time he opened his eyes, the first time he met Ichigo, everything he tried to do for Rangiku, this long undercover mission that he had there. I wish he hadn't died, but it still made for an awesome moment back in the main series. Now, back we finally see more of Masaki, Ichigo's mother, being at Ryuken's house, at the Ishida family house. I wasn't expecting that. This is something I didn't know. One of the spoilers I didn't know, and I'm happy I saw it right here. Now, Izumi, Ryuken's mother, feels like this strict mother who she wanted to protect the bloodline. That's mainly why they took Masaki in. And uh, I don't know, I really like how Masaki is there, even though Izumi was very strict. You can also being there, he apologized for his mother, but Masaki put up a brave front there, felt like a bit happy-go-lucky, saying everything is okay, but she still bottled up her feelings. We see her in the room there, and you can explaining, talking to they're saying that his mother only wants to protect the bloodline, and Masaki is talking to the maid Katagiri, which I really like Katagiri also. What happened to her? I hope we're gonna see more of her at some point, and always you can always thinking about the future of the Quincy. I'm really curious how Uryu is going to react to everything that's been revealed here in this episode. The past, his connection to Ichigo, his family, both of their families being tied together, the Quincy Hollow thing, the war, even more after the end credit scene. Remember, there's an end credit scene, make sure you watch it after the song. But this is where gets back to the incident where you have Ishin trying to draw them out in the open, the ones that were killing the Shinigami. I gotta say, two of those random Shinigamis, the way they got cut, one of them instantly his head from the mouth there very easily, and we have this black hollow showing up, and it looks very similar to Ichigo's form when he fought Ulquiorra, especially the head there. His hole was also covered, part of Aizen's experiments, and yeah, things go from bad to worse, to say the least. And we even have Masaki sensing the fight. I really like how she wanted to help despite of everything. You can try to stop her, but you're still willing to go after her, even though he didn't tell her he was coming there. He took Katagiri and they went to support her from behind the scene. You finally see the fight. I really like the fight there. You saw Ishin struggling against that black hollow, and this jurisdiction thing, that random Shinigami guy coming. Hey, Captain Shiba, this town is under the jurisdiction of, and he gets obliterated. I could read the room a bit. Now we see a bit more of Ishin's power with his Engetsu and flame powers. Now he also got cut from behind by a Zanpakuto, which was revealed to be Aizen. And Aizen, just, it's all part of the plan. He was always there manipulating everything, even calling that hollow white, as in the name white. The ironic thing with it being mostly black, or it calls itself white. Ishin was also able to explode his blood in a way. Still not sure how his Zanpakuto powers actually work. He's able to take an arm from the hollow, but almost gets obliterated from a Zero to the face. And this was the most important moment. Without this, we wouldn't have had Bleach, Ichigo, anything at all. We have Masaki saving him. Now, I really like how she was fighting, her demeanor there, how confident she was, maybe a bit too overconfident. Even Aizen wanted to sit back and watch to see what's happening, got curious, intrigued by a Quincy showing up there. And she even lets herself being beaten just to draw in the hollow and kills it with a shot to the head. Or like, that's execution style right there from Masaki. But that was the overconfidence a bit, because it self-destructed the hollow, and thankfully Ishin saved her. And I really like, they bonded instantly. I feel like it was love at first sight in a way. They are even with them saving each other there. But the internal monologue of Masaki was probably the most impactful thing we saw in this episode, when Ishin asked her, "Who are you?" and him being amazed that she was able to do all of that, and her trying to figure out, how can I answer this? If I'm a Quincy, what would a Shinigami, Soul Reaper, however you wanna call it, say to this? But I really like how Ishin handled that, even though he hesitated for a bit. Of course, having something like that revealed to you, the pose was awesome. And he said, "Hey, that's okay. I never met a Quincy ever in my life," smiling, laughing, taking it very, very well. He was very genuine there. He wasn't faking all of that, and it meant the world for Masaki, having been sheltered, not knowing how to deal around Shinigami, everybody telling them about everything that happened there. She got a bit of spark into her, maybe thinking all of the Shinigami are like that. And this is where we saw Ryuken and Katagiri there ready to help, but it wasn't needed. So that was the most important moment probably in the entire series, the beginning of everything. And Aizen was the Dr. Love matchmaker in a weird, fucked up way, but he brought them together without even intending to. Really also worked in his favor, but without Aizen, we wouldn't have had Ichigo at all. And he got very more intrigued after that, because the hollow passed its holification into a Quincy, into Masaki, and definitely Aizen wanted to see how that is going to turn out, passing something onto your opposing force onto a Quincy. And next week's episode is probably gonna be very, very interesting, or the movie, because we're gonna have a 1 hour special for episodes 12 and 13, and they're doing such an awesome job with Bleach. And I know I'm gonna say it again, I am gonna keep saying it. Feels amazing having Bleach back and them doing such a good job with it. And like I mentioned, there's also an end credit scene. We have Uryu in the rain meeting the second in command from the Wanderlicht that was there with Yawach, which poses some big questions. Did he find out the truth? What is he there? What does he want to do? So yeah, next week it's gonna be super, super intriguing, interesting, however you wanna call it, but I can't wait for more Bleach. And yeah, it's gonna end after next week. Hopefully we're gonna get the announcement or the next episodes are gonna come, but we're gonna talk more about that next week. But feels amazing having this truth finally here. The sorry, the past Ichigo's truth about himself, his mother, Ishin, everything that happened there, all of the connections, Aizen being behind a lot of things as always. And the manga panel, the skip. We needed that panel in the anime there with Ishin, with Rangiku's personality's boobs. Even the rookie one they skipped last episode or the episode before that. Man, I feel like Bleach probably does women in general amazing, really good out of a lot of anime, like independent, powerful women, very hot women, how they should be without it being forced. I feel like Tite Kubo did an amazing job with all of the girls, women in the entire series of Bleach. Even Ikumi, her not being a powerful character, as in with spiritual powers and pactos and stuff like that, she's a powerful person, especially with how she handled Ichigo there. Such an amazing thing to see in Bleach. I always love it. The drip, the clothes, the action. I just love Bleach. I know it has its issues. I love Bleach though. This is all I'm gonna say, and I can't wait next week. Now I'm really curious what you guys thought about the episodes, the reveals that happened here, especially with Ichigo being this amalgamation of human Shinigami. Quincy kind of explains quite a lot about how he's this powerful. Also brings in the question, how is he gonna get a Zanpakuto if he can't use an Asauchi? Is Ohetsu gonna make something special for him? We're gonna have to wait and see for next week or episodes after that, depending what we see next week. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the episode and the series, at least so far. As always, thank you very much for watching. Also remember to check out the podcast. New episode comes out Wednesday. This episode, I can't wait for you guys to see the podcast episode. It was such a blast, and we're just getting better and better at it. Because anime, you can find it everywhere. The podcast, the link is also in the description down below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot. And you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Bleach. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye bye.